Hey everyone, I'm out here in the garage and what we're going to be doing today is replacing the cam seals on the 1999 Acura RL. So stay tuned. So if you're new to the channel, I just want to welcome you here and hopefully you'll consider subscribing if you like what you see. Also, check out Car Apprentice on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I post lots of pictures and videos on those platforms before I post anything on YouTube. And occasionally I'll post things on those platforms I don't post on YouTube. Also, check out the website at carapprentice.com. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. So while I'm doing the timing belt and water pump on the Acura RL, I decided to take care of the cam seals because one of them is leaking. And I figured I might as well do both instead of doing one and then having to come back in here later to do the second one. So, let's get into it. Alright, so what led me to investigate the cam seals is that I found oil spots forming on my driveway right below the oil filter. The leak seemed to originate from somewhere behind the timing covers, which could indicate leaking cam seals or a crankshaft seal. You can try adding UV dye to the engine oil to pinpoint a leak if you're unsure. The procedure in this video is a continuation of the timing belt and water pump part 1 video, since this procedure was executed while doing that job. Also check out the videos on replacing the valve cover gaskets and the rear cam plug respectively for more information. The cam gear on the driver's side is off. I also have the cover off still because we need to get to the cam seal behind it. So I'm going to do this side on video, the other side I'm going to do off camera. I'm going to take this cam pulley off on this side now. That's a 12 millimeter. All three of these bolts here are 12 millimeters. These should be fairly loose so this will not spin. So those two cam pulleys are not interchangeable, so be careful about making sure you put them back where they go. Alright, I'm going to take this cover off now. There are 3 10 millimeters. One here, and then one over here. Go. Alright, so from what I can tell, it doesn't feel like there's any oil leaking here. So that's a little peculiar. We have oil down here. I wonder if that's old oil from something else. It's possible that the oil pump is leaking, which will require removing the engine to reseal it. So it looks like this side over here, you can see that there's some oil right there from this side, so it appears that this cam seal is shot. Alright, so I have loosened some of the bolts for the rocker assembly. I thought I'd throw this valve train loosening sequence in here from the rear cam plug replacement video. Again, check out that video for full context. The bolts should be loosened in 2-turn increments. And as you can see, we've got a bit of a gap right there. Now, we could get in here with a pick tool and get this out. Come right out. Just be really careful not to score any of the surfaces here. There's our seal right there. I've already replaced the valve cover gaskets and spark plug tube seals, so the oil in the spark plug wells on the driver's side is caused by O-rings on the underside of the rocker assembly. So I'll replace the O-rings on both the driver's side and the passenger side. Alright, so I've got all the bolts loose for the rocker assembly. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out now. So one thing you want to do is keep all these bolts that are loose intact. You don't want to take those out. Just leave them intact. We're going to lift the whole assembly up and take it off. You may feel a couple bolts get snagged in their holes. Just kind of feel around, and there we go. Get this out that way. Yeah, definitely want to handle this with 2 hands. There we go. There are those O-rings I was talking about right there. You can tell these are really flat and they feel kind of hard. I was kind of poking at this one. It feels really hard. So I'm going to take all these off. So right here in this gap, you should be able to get in there, pop that out like that. And the same to these. And this one here. Yeah, very brittle. Here are our new O-rings. P1301 PT0003. A lot of the Honda dealerships have those in stock because they're pretty common on the Honda cars. They are kind of expensive at the dealership, though. I think I paid $9 a piece. So if you can get them online, get them online. I actually needed these in a pinch because I didn't remember to order them. Let's slide the new one in. Make sure it's all the way in. There's one. Just kind of run your finger around and make sure it's in there all the way. There's a second one. Okay, we'll put the third one in. There's quite a bit of oil in here. You may want to lubricate it a little bit. I got a lot of oil on my hands. That's why I'm not really lubricating it at all. But you can just put them in like this and they'll go right in there. There's a lot of oil on this valve train. Put it in, just run your finger around. That's in also. So yeah, these are done. Very, very hard. So yeah, that one snapped. See that? Alright, so on these ends, if you have to clean off the RTV, because sometimes it doesn't come all the way off. Usually with the oil on here, it just slides right off. But if you ever have to clean the RTV off here, just lift one side up like this. Clean it off. That looks pretty good. Go around there. So do that side and then lift the other side. Don't try to tilt it this way. Just lift one side at a time. That'll keep your screws in, or the bolts in the holes. These two back here, you probably have to take them out. That's fine. All right. Put those back in before I lose them. The small hole where the pin on the camshaft gear slots into place should be facing almost 90 degrees off the deck of the cylinder head. You can verify this by temporarily installing the rear cam gear cover and the cam gear. Alright, so I'm going to put the cam seal in first. Just going to slip this on. This goes outside like that. You may want to put a little bit of oil on the inside here too, just to make sure it slides on. Nice tight fit there. That's nice. Alright, so the next thing is going to be putting the rocker assembly back on. I want to kind of plot this out because we only have about 5 minutes to work with this ultra gray. So we want to be very careful about how we do that. Once again, courtesy of the rear cam plug replacement video, here's where the Permatex Ultra Gray or Honda bond should be applied. Alright, so we've got our sealant on back there. Put some around the cam plug here. one back there. I got a little bit too much sealant here, so I'll just take some of this off. Just wipe it off there. Probably put some on when we do the valve cover gasket too. Here's the bolt tightening sequence from the rear cam plug replacement video. The bolts should be tightened in 2-turn increments. Alright, so our camshaft has moved. So when I tighten this down, the camshaft jumped. That happens sometimes. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the cover back on over here and try to line up our marks with this gear. So put the cover back on. That's good enough for now. What we're going to do is put our cam gear back on. I think we're off quite a bit here. So you can see right there, we should be way over here. It jumped way over here. So this happens every once in a while. It's a little bit of a pain, like I said. So we're just going to have to move it back over that way. Okay. Yeah, I can feel it. It's got some tension on it. So I've got it back to where it was. Now, when you go to put your timing belt on, there is a possibility it could jump again. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Alright, so because of our timing situation where we have a risk of this cam jumping, I am just going to put the bolts in hand tight for now. And when we get the belt on, then we will tighten those down. So timing is very, very important. Don't get freaked out about this stuff though. It happens. So you just have to try to do what I just did here, manipulate it a little bit. As long as it's not like rotated way over here somewhere, you're okay. If it's way over here, you've got your camshaft totally put in wrong. Okay, so we've got the gear back on. We're going to leave it like that and continue on. This is a partial repeat from the timing belt replacement video, but I thought I'd just include it to finish off this procedure. Alright, so before I get comfortable and start putting everything back together, remember I did the rocker assembly. I pulled that off in order to get the cam plugs out. So I need to tighten down these camshaft bolts here. So there's 3 of them on this side and 3 on that side. So 12 millimeters at 23 foot-pounds. Okay, that side's done. Alright, so let's do this side. Again, 12 millimeters at 23 foot-pounds. Alright, so there you have it. There's replacing the cam seals on the 1999 Acura RL. So as you saw in this video, the camshaft did jump on me. That's normal. Stuff like that happens. Don't get too freaked out about it. As long as you start out with your camshaft at the point you're expecting it to be lined up for timing, that's perfectly fine that it will jump. You just have to move it back and then proceed from there. So hopefully this information was helpful, and thanks for watching.